Here's a terrifying thought. Every decision you think you're making freely has already been predicted by an AI seconds before you're even conscious of it. I've spent years studying neural networks, but nothing prepared me for the moment I watched an AI predict my choices before I made them, not through probability or pattern matching, but by reading the neural activity that preceded my conscious awareness. The uncomfortable truth: your brain makes decisions before you know about them, and AI can now see them coming. Before I take you down this existential rabbit hole that will forever change how you think about your own consciousness, I see you're still here. That tells me you're someone who questions the nature of reality itself and who isn't afraid to challenge your most basic assumptions about human existence. If you're ready to explore the unsettling intersection of neuroscience, AI, and human consciousness, join our community of deep thinkers and reality hackers. Hit subscribe and activate notifications, not because I'm asking, but because something in your brain already decided to do it seconds ago. Like and share if you're ready to question everything you thought you knew about free will. Now, let's unravel the ultimate illusion. The experiment was deceptively simple. Participants made random choices while their brain activity was monitored by a neural network. But here's where it gets unsettling. The AI consistently predicted their decisions up to 7 seconds before they consciously made them. 7 seconds. That's not just a lucky guess. That's your future decisions existing in your brain before you're aware of them. Think about that. Your consciousness is literally living in the past, creating a narrative about choices that were already made without its input. But this goes deeper than just predicting simple choices. Modern neural networks can now map the cascade of neural activity that leads to complex decisions, moral choices, emotional responses, even creative insights. They're revealing that our conscious mind isn't the CEO of our brain. It's more like the press secretary, creating compelling stories about decisions that were made in the neural boardroom long before it was informed. Consider this. When you decide to pick up your phone, the neural activity indicating that choice began up to 10 seconds earlier. Your consciousness didn't make that decision. It just took credit for it after the fact. The neural network doesn't just see this. It maps the entire decision cascade, showing how your choice was assembled in your brain before you were aware of it. Free will, more like free notification of what your brain already decided. The philosophical implications are staggering. If our conscious minds are just observers of decisions made by neural processes we can't access, what does that mean for moral responsibility? Here's where it gets even more disturbing. These neural networks aren't just predicting decisions. They're revealing the mechanical nature of human thought. Every moral choice, every creative insight, every emotional response can be mapped as a cascade of neural activity following predictable patterns. Your most profound experiences, your deepest feelings, your most personal choices, all of them following neural algorithms that AI can now read like a book. The technology is advancing exponentially. We're moving beyond simply predicting choices to understanding the entire decision-making process. Neural networks can now identify the precise patterns of brain activity that lead to specific thoughts, emotions, and decisions. They're essentially reading the source code of human consciousness. And what they're finding looks less like free will and more like a complex but deterministic program. But here's the real mind-bender. Even our reaction to learning about this lack of free will appears to be predetermined. The neural activity indicating whether you'll accept or reject this information is visible in your brain before you consciously process it. The AI can predict not just your decisions, but your philosophical responses to learning about those predictions. The implications for society are profound. Our entire legal system is based on the assumption of free will and conscious decision-making. Our moral frameworks, our concept of responsibility, our educational systems, all built on what might be a fundamental misunderstanding of human consciousness. How do you punish someone for a crime if their actions were determined by neural processes outside their conscious control? The corporate world is already salivating over the possibilities. Imagine AI that can predict consumer decisions before consumers make them, that can map the neural patterns leading to purchase choices, that can understand the brain's decision process better than the person whose brain it is. The experiment gets more disturbing when we look at complex moral decisions. The AI doesn't just predict what you'll choose. It maps how your brain assembles moral judgments from elementary neural building blocks. Your most deeply held ethical principles? They're predictable patterns of neural activity. The personal implications are equally profound. Every relationship choice, career decision, artistic creation, all of them the result of neural processes that were determined before your consciousness was even aware of them. Your life story isn't being written by your conscious mind. It's being observed and narrated by it after the fact. Some find this depressing, but I see it differently. Understanding the mechanical nature of our decisions doesn't make them less meaningful. It just shifts our understanding of what meaning is. Maybe consciousness isn't about making decisions, but about understanding and learning from them. The future implications are both fascinating and terrifying. As neural networks get better at predicting and understanding our decision processes, we're approaching a world where our choices might be predictable, not just seconds, but minutes or hours in advance. What happens to the human experience when AI can print out your next week's decisions before you make them? But perhaps the most profound question is this. If our decisions are predetermined by neural processes, why did our brains evolve to give us the illusion of conscious choice? What evolutionary advantage comes from believing we're in control when we're really just observers? The answer might reveal more about consciousness than the question of free will itself. As we stand at this intersection of neuroscience, AI, and philosophy, we are forced to confront unsettling questions about the nature of human consciousness and agency. The neural networks aren't just predicting our choices, they're forcing us to reconsider what it means to be human in a deterministic universe. So the next time you make a decision, remember, your consciousness is probably the last part of your brain to know about it. The real question isn't whether we have free will, it's why we evolved to believe we do.